everybody knows my testimony. And so, you know what happens when you go against God. So I decided to give him a testimony. When I walked through the door, I seen all these new faces. Then it dawned on me. Okay, Lord, that's why you want me to give my testimony. It's amazing. Now, coming into this church, I know you all, see the empty seats and everything. We got a lot of people that's not here. But beyond that, this is a church of people that really love Jesus. Amen. And this church needs not just members, but workers. And so I've been with this pastor for, I met you in 90, maybe 95, 6, somewhere in there. 94, something like that. So I was young, and I was not the guy that you see today. And since I've known this man, he has had a heart for Jesus. Now, when you truly have a heart for Jesus, and when you truly want to see change in young men and women, people scurry off. And I've seen a lot of people scurry off from this man, because Jesus really resides in this man's heart. And so in order to be a New Day Christian Ministry member, you have to really, really love Jesus. And when I was struggling, he didn't kick me to the side. He didn't talk about me. He hung with me through everything. And he got on my nerves. He got on my last nerve. But when he met me, I was incarcerated. And after he talked to me, one thing he said, "You're going to preach one day." And I was like, "You crap." I was sitting in jail. I was talking to you through a glass. And he prophesied over me. He said, "You have a heart." And I was like, "So?" And I didn't know what he meant. But he prophesied over. God spoke through this man. And it done something to me. Now, I didn't change me right at that moment. I did a lot more knucklehead things. And I never thought God would use me. And we have a world out there full of people that don't think God loves them or will use them. Because I asked, Lord, I don't speak perfect English. We know Paul spoke that, right? I don't speak perfect English. I don't dress the part. And so God still used me. Now, that's not my message, but I wanted to let you know that this is a place that loves Jesus Christ. And when you truly love Jesus Christ, you're going to have a lot of people that run, because we don't change for the world. We don't change for people. We don't change for personality. We do what God tells us to do. And so, moving on to my message. Let's go to Jonah 4, 1 through 5. Amen? Thank you, Lord. And so, you're looking at Jonah. We all know the story of Jonah, of how he ran. So, I'm going to throw my testimony out there, Maru, in there with Jonah, because you're looking at Jonah. At the age of, I was 15 turning 16, I was accused and charged with a first-degree murder. Now, when the police came in my house, I was in the bed, sleep, in my boxers, and the police drugged me out of my house. I was 15 turning 16. Now, you know I was young, because I still remember 15 finna be 16, because I couldn't wait to be 16, right? So I always remember that I'm 15 finna turn 16. It was August 3rd. My birthday is August 19th. And so I'm sitting in jail, and I thought that was it. I thought my life was over. And before I went to jail, I met a young lady at a mall. Her name was Tiffany Jones.
No, it was not at that time.
It was Tiffany Banks then, I'm sorry. That's correction. And I just so happened to be at the mall. My cousin worked at the mall, and they were talking about picking my cousin up from the mall. Who wants to ride? I want to go. So I got in the car with my family, and I'm walking through the mall with my little cousin on my own, because back then, babies attract girls. How cute he is. And so I had my cousin with me, my baby cousin, and Tiffany and her friends were sitting at a table. And I don't know what they was doing. They was betting on who can get the most phone numbers. I mean, we were young, we were kids, we having fun. But in the end, she ended up getting my number. I ended up getting her number. And it was all God working that thing. And when I went to jail, a few weeks later, maybe a few months later, she wrote me, I wrote her. And there was something that it was just magic. It was just not magic, it was God. And the pastor found my letters in her room while he was cleaning her room. And he thought I was a grown man. And of course I can imagine, because I have a daughter in college. I can imagine finding a love letter and thinking it's a grown man. I'm gonna get all up in her business. And that's what he did. He called my mother, and my mother told him that I was a good kid. And he took her word, and he came to the jail to see it for himself. And we had a great conversation. But I was still a thug. And I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. When the time came for my birthday, and I ended up doing 18 months and going to trial and everything like that. When one time I was locked up for my birthday, and the day I didn't get a letter, the day I couldn't get a phone call, and I couldn't reach anybody but God. And I was at the bottom of my life. So that's why I want to contrast with Jonah. Let's read Jonah. And I want you guys to imagine this is a kid laying in this bunk, can't call anybody, no visits, and I was just by myself at that time. It reads, "But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he became angry. So he prayed to the Lord and said, Lord, was not this what I said when I was still in my country? Therefore I fled previously to Tarshish. For I know that you are a gracious and merciful God, slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness, one who relents from doing harm. Therefore now, O Lord, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. Then the Lord said, is it right for you to be angry? So Jonah went out of the city and sat on the east side of the city. There he made himself a shelter and sat under it in the shade, till he might see what would become of the city." What I want to show you is that when I came home, and I was found not guilty, of course, because I did not commit the crime. When I came home, I had an opportunity when the pastor came to see me. When the pastor told me I had a heart for Christ, that Christ loved me, I still was hard-headed. I still stayed hanging with the same people. Even after all of that, I still, because I felt like that's my destiny. That's where I'm from. And when I came home and everything was behind me, they found out who really did it, and the problem was I was hanging with the wrong people. God always sends a messenger. The difference is, the problem is we don't listen. And so when my messenger came, I didn't listen. And so I wanted to start the story when Jonah was at the dock, at the pier, with all these boats, right? And God told him to go where? To Nineveh. He decided to go where? To Tarshish. So all these boats, starting at the dock, all these boats going in different directions. He chose to go to the boat he wanted to go to. His will against God's will.
All right. Yeah.
His will against God's will. So I'm gonna explain. Let me throw something to you. We got married in what? October 20th, 1995. I remember. We got married in 95. After all the crap, I did. I thought I'm leaving it behind, and I want to do things, and you know what? I'm gonna stop the crime, but I'm gonna hold on to this. I ain't no pastor. I could be just a regular guy, right? I'm going to Torrance. I'm not going to Nineveh. So 10/20/95. I didn't honor my vows to 20 or 15 years after that. I don't want that to be a shocker, sweetheart. But I didn't truly understand my vows to 15 years after I was married. God's will, His will. And so, as I ran spiritually, I wanted to be the regular guy. Things started happening in my life. I was swallowed by that fish. And the thing about this is, when I say I ran, we were separated for 7 years. I ran back to St. Louis. I'm sharing y'all the meat of it all. Because when I was here, I thought it was boring. This is not my life. I don't want to be with a pastor's daughter. And I loved her, but I didn't like the situation. I didn't like going to church. I didn't like sacrificing myself. And so I ran. And the weird thing to me is God allowed me to run.
All right.
He let me go.
Okay.
He let me go. If you read the story of Jonah, what Jonah do? Jonah was allowed to buy the ticket. Jonah was allowed to get on that boat.
Okay.
Now, just because God allows you to get away so far, that don't mean He's saying okay.
Okay.
See, God could have made us robots. He could have made us worship Him. He could have made us do what He wanted us to do. But He loved us enough to give us a choice.
That's right.
So He loved me enough to give me a choice. So I bought that ticket. I got on the boat, and I thought everything was okay. I said, this is my life. Now, I want to get this across very clearly. When we go against God's will, a storm will be coming.
All right.
Amen.
A storm will be coming. And we know the story of Jonah. We know that storm came. And what was Jonah's down there asleep? Everybody else panicking.
That's right.
They were praying to their gods and trying to get out of that situation. And they was asking, what's going on with the boat? What's going on with the driver of the boat? What's going on with the people? Who that made God this man?
Yeah.
They cast lots. They asked questions. They say, ain't nothing wrong with the boat. You ain't did nothing. You ain't did nothing. You ain't did nothing. Jonah, you the one did something. You the one went against God. So guess what? You're looking at Jonah. Back to me. When I went back and I separated for 7 years, guess what I did in that 7 years? I partied. I drank. I sold drugs. I had a couple of crack houses. One of my crack houses, the police came. About 18 of them. And while they was coming in, guess what I did? I jumped out a second-story window with no shoes on. Broke both ankles. I landed, and the doctor said my ankles had nowhere to go but out. And I broke every bone at the bottom of my feet. And I ran, I kept running, I passed out. And when I came to, it was about 9 millimeters in my face. And a piece of paper said, "Is this you, Mr. Jones?" Yes. And I'm sweating, I'm passing out in and out. End up going back to jail. So, after doing more time, this time I did it. I was selling drugs. Because that's what I saw, that's what I knew, that's who I was. After doing that time, I had a choice to make. And I was begging my wife while I was in jail, wasn't I? Please take me back. Please take me back. You know how it is when you hit the bottom. You think about the people that was there for you. Please take me back. She wouldn't take me back. And guess what? God met me where I was at.
Right.
God met me under my covers while I was crying because I was by myself. He met me under my covers. I was in the well.